the word, when you hear the word well-being?
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind, happiness, care, joy, calmness, peace, balance, bliss. All right.
Fulfillment of life's purpose.
Fulfillment of life's purpose.
Just about to say that.
Taking charge, feeling good, smile. Okay. Okay. So wonderful. So a lot of times when we talk of well-being, and when we are asked what well-being is, we come up with of course I'm amidst a more evolved group of people who understand the true meaning of well-being, but a lot of times we come up with questions like, is it just being functional? Is it just being symptom-free? Is it just getting your job done, living without excessive complaints? Is it just being okay, or is it more than that? And of course it is more than that. This is a holistic model of wellness, which actually Sukesh sir shared with me a few weeks back, which encompasses physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, social, and environmental aspects that contribute to our overall wellness or well-being. But these are some of the words that I agree with you, and I had sort of noted down about what well-being means to me as a psychologist and as a person also. For me, well-being is happiness. It is more holistic. It encompasses our body, our mind, our soul. It is living qualitatively with satisfaction, optimism, enhanced productivity, and of course, happiness. I believe well-being is extended over every aspect of our life, which is physical, social, environmental, psychological, and economic. It is about doing well, feeling good, and it is about feeling good and doing well. However, the complete theory of well-being needs to be more coherent and compelling to take into account both pleasant as well as unpleasant life experiences, especially suffering. Considering the last 1.5 years that all of us have been through, it's important for us to keep in mind that well-being is all of that as well. Today, because yesterday was World Mental Health Day, which is like a very big day for all of us psychologists, and somebody at an interview asked me yesterday that today is World Mental Health Day, and why do you think this day is celebrated? And my answer to them was that it is a day to to formally recognize and remember that we have a mind which needs attention, which needs some care, compassion, etc., etc. Because otherwise we're so busy and focused on doing so many other things. And however, the theme of the World Mental Health Day this year was or is mental health in an unequal world, but something that resonates with me when I think of mental health, and something which is more general and which I wanted to talk about today, is psychological flexibility. Anybody understands what psychological flexibility could mean, or what it means? Anybody?
Yeah, well, I think the ability to absorb the good with the bad, kind of allow your mind to work around things and optimize.
Yeah, yeah.
Adapt to change. Adapt to change.
Adapt to change. Yes.
Ease in this flow.
Oh, sorry.
Be in the moment.
Will the key word be flexibility or psychological? Which is the real potent word?
What do you think, sir?
Flexibility. Psychological is only being added for convenience.
Not for convenience, but it's trying to encompass a variety of processes that goes through the human mind.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Manish.
Is it what you call neuroplasticity?
Yeah. It's an extension of neuroplasticity, which basically means that our brain is capable of adapting and molding itself. So psychological flexibility, essentially, I'm working with so many clients. There's one thing that I realized, that it's not that people don't have, most of us, unless there is a severe mental illness, most of us have the capability of managing lives. However, what we forget, or what we may have forgotten over a period of time, is the need to be flexible, mentally flexible. The 3 pillars of psychological flexibility includes being open, which means to being accepting of who we are, of our situation, and diffusing or disconnecting from thoughts and feelings that may not serve us. It is also being aware of the present moment, and using ourselves as context, not ourselves as being an observer rather than just reacting and being just flowing through life without mindlessly. Then flexibility also means being engaged. It's not just all cognitive, it's also action. And being engaged, and one of the most important aspects of being engaged is to be engaged with one's own value, keeping in mind what is important to me, what adds value to me, where I add value, and how can I bring that into my daily life, doing things with the value that it adds to my life. And this reminds me of the conversation between Deepa and Nandini today morning, where Deepa commented that, Nandini, you're really living life to the fullest. That means that you're living a life of values. You're living a life where you are adding value to your own life, and your life is in return adding value to you. And of course, taking committed action. Now, this is, the model of psychological flexibility, which basically means that we need to be in the here and now, which means that we need to live in the present. It also means to hold your values clearly in your mind. And very often when I'm working with clients, one of the most important things that I talk to them about is that if you know what your value is, and if you know what you value, and if you're able to synthesize that and integrate that in your life, it will be a life well lived. Psychological flexibility also means living with integrity, living with values. It means to noticing yourself as an observer, disconnecting with the need to always control emotions, disconnecting with the need to always be in sync with everything that we are doing, and just observe what we are thinking and what we are feeling, and try to address that. It is believed that whenever we feel negative emotions or overwhelming emotions, if we, rather than reacting to them, if we just take a minute and observe them, the impact of those emotions on our brain goes down. Psychological flexibility also means distancing ourselves from intrusive thoughts. Getting intrusive thoughts is very, very natural. There's a concept in psychology, in therapy, actually, in acceptance and commitment therapy, which is known as creative hopelessness. Creative hopelessness basically means that we all create the sense of hopelessness in our minds when we try to control negative emotions, and that makes it more difficult. So this control agenda, if we release ourselves from this control agenda, and we just distance ourselves from these negative intrusive thoughts, we become more flexible in adapting and accepting situation. And most importantly, accepting ourselves for who we are and not what we want or how we want things to be. This is a very short nugget. There is so much more that I want to talk to all of you about psychological flexibility and maybe discuss some tools, but hopefully in the coming future, I'll be able to discuss more detail about this. But my request to you on World Mental Health Day is let's all be flexible. Thank you very much.